Hello and welcome back to the Second Chance to Live channel here on YouTube. I'm happy to see that you decided to stop by to watch this video presentation. Thank you. I create video presentations on my articles to share the information that I have in articles that I've written for Second Chance to Live to make the information available for individuals to learn through watching and listening. This is the 448th video presentation that I've created of articles that I've written. I'll include a link to the playlist of all my video presentations of articles in the description portion of this YouTube video. To read the article, I'll put my glasses on and bring up the article. I want to thank you for your time. Here's the article. Living with a Brain Injury, Feeling Rejected, Excluded, Cliques, and the Breakfast Club movie. Living with the impact of a brain injury can leave us feeling alone and isolated from ourselves and other people. In our isolation, we can then also feel rejected, excluded, ostracized, and that our lives do not matter. Labels, stereotypes, and a societal stigmatization can then serve to reinforce our feelings of isolation and alienation. In addition to our feeling alienated, cliques then perpetuate the notion that we just don't measure up. As I've shared in my autobiography, my brain injury occurred in 1967 when I was 10 years old. Because I grew up in a time and at a time when there was little known about the impact of a brain injury, I had no idea how my life was and had been affected socially. A movie opened a movie that opened my eyes to what I experienced. In 1985, I watched the movie while in graduate school, The Breakfast Club movie. The movie was set as a comedy. However, as I watched the movie, the plot opened my eyes. Once my opened my eyes to what I experienced while in high school, a social structure that identified individuals as being in a clique, either a jock, a freak, or a nerd. Within this movie, each character represented a unique clique. As depicted in the movie The Breakfast Club, cliques were a way or the way that students identified themselves. How they identified themselves and how they chose to interact with other students, as in my high school. As in my high school, each individual in the movie found themselves identified with a clique. The individual once identified with the clique was labeled and stereotyped as a member of the clique. Once identified with the clique, the individual was typecast in that role. Consequently, they were no longer individuals, were no longer seen as individuals, but found themselves stereotyped as a member of the clique. My place. Although I was athletic, I did not play varsity sports, so I did not fit in with the jock clique. I was not rebellious or antisocial, so I did not fit in with the freak clique. I was smart, so I found myself being assigned to the nerd clique. Being in this clique resulted in my being picked on and bullied by people in the jock and freak cliques. As a result, I found myself being made fun of by the jocks and freaks because I did not fit into their cliques in high school. Growing up with the impact of a brain injury did not help matters. I found myself rejected and excluded as a nerd and ostracized for measures that I did not understand, my invisible disability. As I have surveyed my life, I have found myself interacting with similar cliques. Recently, I've started back interacting in person with groups of people after COVID. Interestingly, I found myself triggered and experiencing an emotional hangover after interacting with these specific individuals. Because of my emotional hangover, I took some time to process what I was experiencing. Through writing, what became apparent to me was that these individuals reminded me of the individuals in these cliques that I experienced in high school, the freaks, jocks, and the nerds. Why these individuals reminded me of my experience with these cliques was not as important as examining why, excuse me, I was triggered. By examining why I was triggered, I was able to let go of the emotional hangover. Being rejected and excluded by individuals or groups of individuals. Being rejected and excluded by an individual or groups of individuals is not all about me. Therefore, I am able to better detach, realizing that I may be rejected and excluded based on a prior clique mindset. Again, therefore, I am able to better detach, realizing that I may be rejected and excluded based on a prior clique mindset or mentality. So it's not all about me, it's about their filters and the way that they see life and individuals as they interact with. People are who they are in their stage of maturity. Sometimes, for whatever reason, people, including myself, can be stuck. As a result, they may feel comfortable relating through familiar cliques as they did in high school, even though they are adults. With this awareness and understanding, I'm better able to practice live and let live and quit taking it personally. Quit taking it personally when I interact with individuals who trigger me beyond the click roll trigger. As with the not measuring up because I was not a jock or a freak in high school, as an adult in society, I can feel inadequate. Again, as with the not measuring up because I was not a jock or a freak in high school, as an adult, I can feel inadequate. As an individual living with a brain injury and an invisible disability, I can also feel inadequate because of a diagnosis. Because I have not been able to maintain gainful employment for many years, I can also feel inadequate. Because I have not been able to measure up to many societal standards, I can also feel inadequate. Because I've not been able to fulfill the role of a hunter gatherer, I can also feel inadequate. But the good news is that I do not have to feel inadequate because of these roles or standards. Excuse me. What I have learned that gives me freedom. As an adult and through my ongoing brain injury recovery process, I have come to realize that and can accept these realities. My worth and value as an individual. Excuse me. I've come to realize that my worth and value comes from my being authentically me, being authentically me as I go about fulfilling my higher power's will for my life, fulfilling my higher power's will for me through my gifts, talents, and abilities, using my gifts, talents, and abilities in ways that work for me as I seek to be of service. Be of service to the individuals who want what I have to give through my gifts, talents, and abilities. And I don't have to climb a tree to prove my worth and value to anyone. Again, I don't have to climb a tree to prove anything. I don't have to be able to climb a tree to feel adequate. Here's a quote that I really like. It sums it up. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. So I don't have to climb a tree any longer. I do not have to feel like I need to prove my worth and value through a click or to a click or through a roll. I don't have to be more than I am because I have a brain injury and because I'm living with an invisible disability to people that may not understand. And I'm free to use my gifts, talents, and abilities in ways that work for me for people who want what I have to give. And that gives me a lot of hope. So here's some tools that empower serenity in my life amidst when I feel like I'm being pulled by cliques or by role expectations. With the awareness and understanding that I'm better able to detach emotionally, excuse me, With this awareness and understanding, I am better able to detach emotionally, as what I shared above, that as I aware that I don't have to measure up to standards or cliques by societal measures, I find that I'm better able to detach emotionally when I feel rejected, excluded, or ostracized by cliques or society through labels, stereotypes, and stigmatization. Detach when I'm interacting with individuals or an individual or individuals operating from a clique mindset or mentality or the way that they feel comfortable interacting with individuals. It's not all about me. I need to remember that. In the process of detaching emotionally, I'm better able to practice live and let live. And that's very important for me to remember that I can't practice live and let live if I'm able to detach and let people run their own race, stay in their own lane, and mind their own business. And I can mind my own business, run my own race, and stay in my own lane. Below is a prayer that helps me to embrace compassion for both myself and other people. This is the peace prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, fear, faith. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Excuse me. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. Below are several articles that I wrote that helped me to understand what I was experiencing and helped me to be able to detach when I'm dealing with difficult people. As questions come to mind, please send those comments and questions to me in a comment attached to this article. And remember, all questions are good questions. The information in these articles, and I have links to these articles here in the article, the written article, may also help you. Click on the links to read the articles. So the first article is I'm Not a Label, Being Our Own Best Cheerleader. Second article is the group that you're in hurting you. Are you being bullied? And the third article is Beyond Feeling Excluded. Are you being bullied by a individual or a group? That's those are the three articles. And then I have a poster here with the backdrop of the Wizard of Oz, excuse me, and it says, don't let anyone tell you, including yourself, that you are not smart enough, you don't have enough heart, you lack courage, because you already are more than enough, and discover yourself. So that's what brain injury recovery is. It's an ongoing process of discovering what our new normal looks like for us as we go about living our lives, as we seek to use our gifts, talents, and abilities in ways that work for us, and as we seek to be of service to the individuals that a loving God brings into our lives. This is the end of the video presentation of the article. Again, I want to thank you for your time. Please share this article, video presentation with anyone you think could benefit. We're not alone. We don't have to feel alienated or isolated because we have one another. So I'll say so long for now. Before I go, let me remind you with these things that I need to remember. Please do not give up on yourself, a loving God, or your process, because more will be revealed to you and to me with time. The pieces of the puzzle will come together in the correct order and at the right time. I'll say so long for now. Have a super day, and God bless both you and your family. Bye now.